Hi guys and welcome to my channel. In this channel today we will be discussing P. Diddy again, but we're going to go right back to the beginning and we're going to look at the points or factors in his life that maybe just led him on the path that he's currently on at the moment. So the question for this video, did Puff Daddy take the wrong turn in 1994, age 23? What encounters or entanglements was he involved in 1994 that has led him in the course to where he is now with multiple lawsuits against him, millions and millions of fines and settlements that he is having to settle one after the other ever since Cassie's civil lawsuit against him? What happened to the guy who once had aspirations to being an artist to now being at the point where he's an artist, but all of that work where he's actually a manager, he owns his own record label, Bad Boy for Life. Most of these artists hardly have a career. Most of them are left impoverished. Most of them, a lot of them are 6 feet under. Basically, the only people that or only person that's ever succeeded in having any kind of career or any kind of monetary gain through music and having any association with Puff Daddy is literally himself. And maybe the few odd ones here and there. We've got the Mary J. Blige. Yeah, it's more or less Mary J. Blige that has been long lasting, that you can think of for a long period of time. So what happened? What set him on this path? That's what we're gonna discover. We'll talk about more, explore. Feel free to put a comment, any questions, any comments, anything you want to say in the comment section. My name is Lola Ame. This is my channel at Lola Superstar World. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't, so that you can be notified of all things in my life, my Lola Superstar life, whether it's dancing or talking about what's hot and what's current. Tune in. So, in 1994, Puff Daddy was 23 years old and he actually wanted to be an artist. His dream or aspirations at that time was to be in the, music industry. Like many young boys and girls in today's world, they look at TV, they see the artists that they like and they aspire to be like them. That's what Puff Daddy wanted. He ended up being an intern, or he started off being an intern for Uptown Records. He was an intern to Andre Harrell at the time. Andre Harrell ended up being his mentor, and Puff Daddy was an intern for Uptown Records for 3 years. The only thing that stopped that internship was when he got fired because he put on a music event. He was new, didn't have much experience in the music industry or even with doing events, but he put on this event and that everything just was not as organized as it should have been. There was a crowd migration situation. Literally 9 people were deleted from that event. Yeah, at the time, Puff Daddy was inexperienced. He was new. He was literally just an intern, and he was putting on an event of that magnitude, and it resulted in 9 people being 6 foot under. And this is occurrence that keeps on happening, or has happened quite a few times. We got Travis Scott's Astro World recently, where a multitude of people were deleted from that event. Once again, it was a crowd stampede situation. Also here in London, at London Brixton O2 Academy, where an Afrobeat artist was actually performing. And from what I can remember, at least 2 people lost their life recently in that event as well. There was a situation with the tickets, people couldn't get in, they're oversold, and literally crowd migration, people were trampled on and 2 people were deleted. But that was what put an end to Sean Puffy Combs' association or internship at Uptown Records with his mentor, Andre Harrell, at that particular time. During Sean Puffy Combs' internship with Uptown Records, he made a lot of powerful he was a networker. He was ambitious. He always had one way or the other, he was always going to make it to be successful. It's unfortunate the path that he took, but he was definitely making a lot of, he was definitely networking and making a lot of power moves, power negotiation and power friendships. He not only was he an intern to Andre Harrell, but it was very, very close. And there's been a lot of speculations of the closeness of their relationship and what exactly was going on. It's coming up out now that maybe that there was a lot more going on. There was more of an entanglement, and there were more in a relationship. Like their mentorship was more than what goes on in the office, but they took it elsewhere as well. And what is quite unique about that, at the time, Andre had a mentor too, and his mentor was Clive David, no other than the CEO of Columbus Records. And everything I'm saying here is allegedly. The streets once again are talking. Puff Daddy's name has literally been everywhere. And with the case that Cassie, the civil lawsuit that Cassie pulled against him, literally everything is coming out the woodworks. I'm literally talking about things that happened in 1994, which was the path, which was the beginning of the path of Puff Daddy being the guy that he is today, the beginning of even before Bad Boy Records came about. And we'll go back to that because him being fired from Uptown Record birthed Bad Boy Records coming to life. But we'll go about that in a bit. So, Puff Daddy, he was an intern to Andre Harrell. Andre was his mentor, but Andre himself had a mentor that was teaching him all things music industry, how to be powerful, how to negotiate. And according to sources on the streets, his mentor was Clive David. But during Andre's mentorship with Puff Daddy over 3 years, Puff Daddy was also able to meet Clive David's too. And this is all allegedly. There's a lot of speculations that during those times in the 90s, there was a lot going on between the three. They weren't just all talking business and music and what sells. They were doing a lot more. Apparently and allegedly, there was major entanglements going on between the two. Some people even refer to the mentorship that Andre was giving Sean Puffy Combs was actually SA. He was being mentored, but he was also experiencing SA. And this would also prove a fact to why he's been accused or why he's been associated with such behavior so much up to today, which is all coming out in these lawsuits. And not only was Andre SAing Sean Puffy Combs at the time, but also it was a mixture between all three of them. Apparently, and allegedly, I'll say it again, Clive David was essaying Andre. So it seems like their mentorship was not just, like I said, not just training, music, charts, and at analytics, but there was a lot more going on. Why does this kind of mentorship involves activities, favors done behind closed doors where no one can see what is going on and monitor it? So basically, from what I'm hearing, and like I said, it's all allegedly, what I'm hearing, the way Puff Daddy has been quite controlling with his artists, people that are in his life, very controlling, and the way he likes to, make them do degrading things. Apparently, this is something that he learned. When he was 23, he was kind of like the young Cassie or like the young Usher or like the young Justin Bieber with aspirations to make it in the industry. And at that point, or at that time, the people holding the keys to the things that he needed was Andre Harrell and Clive David. So it looks like the way he got people like Usher, Justin, Cassie, even Biggie to participate in certain acts that would demean and degrade them from a sexual angle, I think that was all done to him. That was apparently done to him by not only Andre Harrell, apparently, but also Clive David. And also it was done to him as a form of mentorship. It was a way to pave him into the industry or to give him the certain keys that he needed. So basically, everything that he got, he earned basically. Not saying he earned rightly, but basically he had to work for it in ways that we can only imagine. Apparently, he was dealing with very powerful men. I mean, Clive is the CEO of Columbus Records. And at the time, Andre was the head of Uptown Records, which was both doing very well. So he was a young guy just trying to make it big. I guess he did what he had to do. So all these things that he was doing, it's learn. Why is this such a pattern? Why is there always a sexual element to play music? Like, what is going on? What the sunken place is going on? People have talent and they just want to sing their music. Why does there have to be such activities? Why is such a beautiful universal skill turn into something that is so dark, that has so much rage, that has so much oppression and usury upon it? And it just goes to show this was learned. The 23-year-old Sean Combs at the time wasn't like this. He wasn't born to be this aggressive, mean person. This is something that he acquired over the years in his pursuit for fame. There's a Bible passage that I remember or think of when I, hear the story of Puff Daddy the making of Puff Daddy, the guy who he is today. And in the Bible, it says, what does it profit a man to receive the whole world but lose their soul? You know, obviously Sean Combs at the time had careers of being in the music industry. At 23 in 1994, he was mingling with one of the most, or two of the most powerful, influential people within the music industry that can make or break careers. He was able to be in their proximity. But in order to get to where he was now, or to get a bit of influence, or to even, rise above, he had to participate in acts which we're not sure he was that way inclined in the first way. We don't know about his life or sexual orientation prior to his involvement with Clive David and Andre Harrell. But what we definitely know, allegedly, or what the streets are saying, allegedly, his mentorship, or part of his mentorship, turned to extra activities with himself and Andre Harrell, and then himself and Clive David. And going back to Clive Davis, so 3 years into his internship at Uptown Record, he put on the music event where 9 people, sadly, they were deleted due to stampede. Sean Combs got fired, and obviously rightly so. There's 9 people that have now been deleted. It was a big scandal at the time. It was a mess because a lot of due diligence wasn't done. He was an intern. He didn't have much experiences, so it was a nightmare, put it that way. But because that during those times, P. Diddy was having many encounters with the 3 of them, he got to know Clive David a bit more on a closer level. And what apparently happened, when he got fired, he was able to speak to Clive David, and it was a case where he was like, look, you need to look after me. Maybe Andre Harrell was your number one, but the things he can do, I can do plus more. Basically, he had a one-to-one meeting with Clive David that made Clive David say, you know what, Andre, you are fired. Uptown Records, poof, I'm done with it. And he funded and backed up P. Diddy to set up Bad Boy for Lives. Literally in a space of 3 years, so I guess from 1994 to 1997, Sean Combs went from being an intern with no experience in the music industry. He was an aspiring artist with no experience. He ended up being an intern for Andre. He got into many entanglement sessions, late night entanglement sessions with both Andre, Clive, 1-to-1, 3 ways, the lot. It all went down. He's now gets fired due to an event that caused multiple people being deleted. And then he made a deal that set him on the trend of becoming P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Honeycombs, you name it, became all these different entities and names of Puff Daddy that we know to today. And now in 2023, having multiple lawsuits against him about his acts of DV and SA on multiple people, both men, women, baby mothers, ex-lovers, and even escorts as well. The list goes on. This is where it all started. This is the groundwork which set Puff Daddy to be the man that he is today. Basically, he created Bad Boy. Bad Boy, just like that. How'd you go from being an intern to owning your own record label, and the guy that mentored you is nowhere to be seen? He definitely did some deals. He definitely did some tricks that clearly Andre couldn't do. He definitely gave Clive David an offer he couldn't refuse. Or whatever he did, it worked to the point where Clive David was like, forget Andre, you're my number one. And as he's number one, he got all the treats that he needed. And because Puff Daddy was Clive David's number one, being that Clive David was so high up in the music industry, he was then and he still is now. I mean, he founded Whitney, he mentored her throughout her career. He's got so many successful, long-lasting, successful artists under his belts, and he's the CEO of Columbia's. So because of that, nobody touched Puff Daddy. Nobody touched P. Diddy. He was literally unstoppable. And it goes to show why his bad behavior, why his multitude of SA assaults, DV assaults, of even people that have even worked for him. He had a worker called Capricorn who knew about Cassie's relationship with Kid Cudi at the time before P. Diddy blew up his car, allegedly. And she herself violently was experiencing DV because she didn't tell P. Diddy on time. And the only reason why that didn't come out earlier was because Interscope Records at the time, they had to pay her off and make her sign an NDA, apparently, allegedly as well. The streets are talking. This is what the streets are saying, but I'll say allegedly as well. So did P. Diddy take the wrong turn in 1994 when he was 23 years old? Maybe if he didn't work at Uptown Record, would he be the Puff Daddy that now everybody's talking about? You know, Puff Daddy, 20 years of all these atrocities that he's committed. Maybe if he wasn't an intern, or maybe if he just worked, for Uptown Records and he had no aspiration of being number one, would things have changed? Was he always on this curse? Basically, what I'm trying to say, could things have been different? Clearly, whatever happened, or his entanglements or association with Andre Harrell and Clive David to that magnitude definitely changed the path of his life. And it's just, it's sad. It almost feels like a movie. It's just sad. What could he have been? What would he have been? Clearly, he had an eye for talent. Clearly, he was always going to be successful in what he was going to do. But it does make me feel, as a Christian, maybe that talent could have been used for light. What would he have been? How would he have changed the course or the influence that he had over so many people's lives, so many people that have gone on to do great things? How would their life or their careers have spanned out if Puff Daddy didn't get Puff Daddy? I loved Jodeci back in the days. I always wondered, why only 2 albums? Why only 2 albums? I loved 112. Oh my God, they were amazing back in the 80s and 90s. I'm like, are you kidding me? So it's such a shame, It's such a shame that things had to turn out the way it is. And it's more of a horror because clearly it's not like he was always like this from birth. He wasn't this monster from birth, or maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure more information will come out. But clearly the trauma of what he went through during that time, and his need for fame so badly, definitely did a number on him. It messed him up to the point where now that he was in a place of power, he decided nobody else was going to rise up to power or fame unless they went through what he did. It seems to me like he was really pained by what he went through, and he had to make sure anyone coming up under him, anyone getting any piece of fame under him, was going to experience what he did and 10 times worse. And do you know what? If that's what his motto was, oh, he surely did. Clearly, whatever he experienced from Clive David and Andre Harrell, oh, they were not prepared for what he was about to do, because he's got a 20-year span of literally mismanagement, usury, robbery, theft, careers being destroyed. Even 50 Cent says, if you want your career to die, literally go to Bad Boys. It's even at the point where people are saying Bad Boy Records has a curse because none of his artists, or hardly any of his hot artists, ever survive. What's one way or the other? They're either 6 foot under, they're in poverty, they have no money, they've been scammed, or something happens. But I'll leave it there for now, and we will discuss more in the next video. Thank you so much for listening to the end. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you feel. Did he take the wrong turn or not? Was this always going to happen? Thank you very much. Peace. And to the next one. Bye.